Who is going to win this division? Nestor, we'll start with you again.
I'm looking at the next week, well, this upcoming week, and I'm just looking at which team. I mean, I look at the Raiders and the Colts, and I just feel like the Colts could lose that game, just because, like I said, the way that Vegas is rallying again around Pierce, and I feel like okay, I saw the Jacksonville losing to Tampa like from a mile away. I knew they were going to lose to the Bucks. I could have seen, like, honestly, but they're facing the Panthers. This upcoming game, they're facing the Panthers, and I feel like they're going to win. There's no way this team is going to lose, like, 6 games in a row. So I feel like it's the Jaguars. But this doesn't bode well for the future, because I feel like maybe people expected more from their offensive weapons. I saw it, like, I never really saw the potential. I just feel like it's their quarterback is making things happen for them. And now they hurt, now you get to see what Jacksonville really is. So if before I felt like they were just not a great team, they were just a above average team. Now with Lawrence kind of hurt, they're very mediocre. But I think they'll get it done. They don't really have tough opponents in the next 2 weeks. So the Colts and Houston, on the other hand, you just have to kind of wonder how those games will go, especially since I think they're facing each other in one of those upcoming weeks. So yeah, I feel like it's the Jaguars that are going to win the division in the end anyway.
June, go ahead.
Well, I was really disappointed in Jaguars this week. I know Nestor said he saw the Buccaneers beat them, but I didn't. I thought they would bounce back this week. I thought they would make a major comeback and get a win. I figured the Texans, they're going to go down. The Colts, not really buying on them. So if you look at the two teams, the two divisions, the NFC South and the AFC South remind me of one another.
Yeah.
They're both the lower divisions in both conferences. And that's a bad thing right now. Jacksonville will probably win a division. But that's it. I think they're going to get beat at home in the first round of playoffs. I think they're one and done. And I don't believe the Colts or the Texans are going to make the playoffs at all. Because, number one, they play each other at the end of the season. They both got relatively tough games coming up, because the Texans this week, they have to play the Titans. The Titans are probably mad because they got booted out the playoffs. So, they're going to try to play spoiler this week. CJ has not been cleared, but I guess he's going to be cleared by tomorrow to play. I don't see him coming back and having a great game, and I don't see him winning this game. The Colts are the Colts. I think they were playing great. Now that was just a bad loss.
Yeah.
To the Falcons.
Yeah.
That was a bad loss. And then they didn't look. It wasn't like it was a 29-26 game. No, right. It was a 29-10, and they looked like crap in that game. And then, of course, Cleveland just blew out the Texans from start to finish. The game was over from the time it started. Jacksonville will win the division by default. But do they go further than that in the playoffs? No, they do not. They're one and done in the playoffs. So, yeah, that's all I got.
This division is it's always just seems so wacky. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, I think it was the COVID year, where Carson Wentz was quarterbacking the Colts, and it came down to the last game of the season, and the Colts should have gone to the playoffs.
Jaguars,
right, and
33-0.
Spanked them. This division is just, oh my God. This is just what it's kind of reminding me of, where it's like this quarterback roulette that goes on, especially with the Colts.
Yeah.
But I think the Jags, like June and Ness are saying, like, I think the Jags will back in, they'll limp into the playoffs and just get annihilated in the first round. And that's really disappointing because I was really high on both the big cats, the Jags and the Lions, and both are kind of seeming a bit very suspect right now going into the playoffs, especially the Jags. So for them to just get annihilated by the Bucs is really just wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, Malin, go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, that was a funny ass game with Carson Wentz throwing 3 interceptions against that was just.
Wasn't that the first quarter?
Yeah, it was in the first half. I know that.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing 33-0, I think.
Yeah.
That was for when you need to have a game and you do that. You're like, goddamn,
unbelievable.
Poor Carson Wentz, man. Like, he should have never tried to score that touchdown against the Rams. Like, that fucked him up. But anyways, I digress. All right, so we're talking about Jacksonville, right? We all agree that we think Jacksonville is going to win the division, correct?
Right.
We all agree that?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, when it comes into the playoffs, what really needs to happen is Trevor Lawrence healthy? Is his ankle healthy? Because he's the second leading rusher on his team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like for his touchdown. I felt like Trevor Lawrence, I kind of blame it a little bit on offensive scheming because what happened between Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley this year?
Yep.
That never materialized so far. And so Trevor Lawrence only has 19 touchdowns.
Right.
Okay. He's thrown 5 interceptions since he hurt his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he has 12 now. But he only had like 7 going into that ankle being hurt. It's clearly affecting the way he's able to push the ball through his throwing motion. He can't scramble right now. So they are more they're more predictable when it comes to the offense. But what I'm looking at the playoff race right now, because I hear all you guys saying, oh, well, they're going to limp and they're going to be one and done, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just got to ask, like, is Cleveland necessarily, or not Cleveland, but is Kansas City necessarily played better than Jacksonville this year? Like, does that team look like a team where, like, man, like, they're head and shoulders above Jacksonville right now?
Right.
Not head and shoulders.
They're
No.
like, one is 9-6 and one is 8-7, right? But Kansas City is going to win their division, so they won't face them in the first round. But Jacksonville is going to get a home playoff game. Here's the teams that they might face in the playoffs at home. Buffalo at 9-6. Is Josh Allen impressing a lot of people, or is it the running game? Because Jacksonville's got a defense, right? Cleveland at 10-5. Joe Flacco at some point, right? At some point, the Joe Flacco magic, the Tinkerbell dust is gonna come off at some point, right? Like, really? I swear to God, if Joe Flacco leads the Browns to the Super Bowl, son of a bitch.
I'm just going to say it real quick. If the Browns match up with the Jags with Joe Flacco, I think the Browns would spank them. It would be embarrassing.
That was last week. They just spanked them.
Man, I swear to God, if the Browns make the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, and I got to experience 2012 all over again. In fact, the most amazing thing ever would be for the Browns to play the Niners.
And
Joe Flacco beats them like he did in 2012. I mean, I got storylines up the ass because all I do is just know things. But then, Indianapolis is probably going to be the other team to make it. DJ Stroud is still hurt. He's still not cleared from concussion protocol. He was doing great, right? My Seahawks are about to take care of Pittsburgh this week. They're 8-7. They'll be 8-8. They're not going to make the playoffs. So you're really looking at Indy and Houston. Like, out of those teams, like, Jacksonville could win that game. So I don't think they're necessarily one and done. And the only team that really scares me out of the AFC right now is Baltimore. And the only reason why I say that is because of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is 100% healthy, then I think that Miami is definitely a threat to go to the Super Bowl. But I also think that if Trevor Lawrence is healthy with his ankle, that Jacksonville's also a threat. So I just think it's crazy, the parity in the NFL this year. Wild. AFC South, the NFC South should get relegated to Division I football. And whoever played in the playoff this year should get moved up into the NFL. Let's get some Euro Championship League things happening here. I'd love to see my Huskies in the NFL. I mean, Texas, whatever. We're in the top 4, June. Like, goddamn, give me a little bit of respect. Jesus Christ. We haven't even played the fucking game yet, June. God damn. This man, the disrespect with the shrug and the eyebrow that I just saw from June. Jesus.